to share some time with me in my kitchen. So tonight you're in for a little bit of a treat because I made a decision today, actually last night, that I am going to begin to eat all plant-based only. And that is quite a switch for me. And even though I'm not a big meat eater, I have certainly been, and gradually I have been removing all dairy, not just processed dairy, but all dairy from my diet. And several months ago I removed eggs. And I just am beginning to realize more and more that meat and dairy may just be part of the culprit for me and for you for any of the symptoms we may experience. So once upon a time, as I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and then many years later with Hashimoto's, I know the symptoms that come with that: brain fog, weight retention, inflammation, sleeplessness, just anxiety, and oh my goodness, mostly it was for me just pain, inflammation, brain fog. So when any of those symptoms start creeping back in with me, I know it's time to make a change. So maybe it's time for you to make a change as well. So I'm very glad you're here. I'm going to get everything together and I'll be right back and show you how I am preparing tonight's dinner. Okay, so I'm going to show you a few things that I'm using today. And listen, I am a very simple cook. I know the cooking basics, so I can be very experimental and can kind of create my own dishes. Sometimes they're a winner. Most of the time they're a winner. Sometimes they're not. But I'm using quinoa, Trader Joe's brand quinoa. It's tricolored quinoa. It's organic. And this is very, very high in protein, but it's a grain and it's gluten-free. So I've already cooked the quinoa, and I'm going to show y'all in case you haven't ever cooked this before. This is what it looks like. You probably can't see that very up close, but the little germ rings on that, you'll see that they come apart from the grain. That's how you know they're done. I haven't seasoned it with anything, but I have been sauteing some onions and garlic. And I put a little bit of salt and pepper in here and a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of onion powder. So I'm going to throw these, about half of this, in with my quinoa, just because I used to do a dish all the time with quinoa and this sauteed onion and garlic mixture, and then some raw cheddar cheese from Trader Joe's, which is awesome. But I've given up cheese as well, so no dairy. All right, so anyway, I'm going to just put some of these in there, just about half of what I had in the pot, and just mix those around. And I'm just going to set those aside with the lid back on them and my burner turned off. And now I've been cutting up some zucchini and squash. So I'm going to turn my burner back on right here, and I'm going to put this squash. Now, I put coconut oil in as my my oil for this, and my onions and garlic are cooked already, and I had turned them off because I had to get John's dinner ready, which I'll show you very shortly. So anyway, let me come back and get all of the squash and zucchini, and let me fill you in on a few things before we finish up here in the kitchen. So let me just turn that burner off and we'll be right back. Okay, so I am going to give my husband what he wants for dinner, and I'm doing it the healthiest way, giving him the healthiest options I can within his boundaries and his desires, because he works hard and he wants what he wants, and he's the man of this house. But I can do what I want to. So here we go. So he is getting chicken salad, 1 egg, and a cut up salad with fresh veggies, and some Trader Joe's balsamic vinaigrette dressing and a little to go. And yes, I'm even throwing them in some crackers because the chicken salad came from Chicken Salad Chicks, and they throw in Keebler crackers. So he's going to get those too. But that's his dinner, and that's okay because I'm going to show you mine. All right, you guys, I'm back in the kitchen, and I actually went ahead and started the squash and zucchini in with the sauteed onions and garlic. I added some organic curry powder. And I put a little bit of curry powder in the quinoa as well, but I'm going to mix all this up. So you see it caramelized just a little bit, which I love. So I like cooking my onions and stuff first because I like my onions really good and caramelized most of the time. And I also put the lid on my squash and cooked it on low for a little bit because I wanted it to really get good and cooked. I didn't want it really firm. I almost wanted it stewed. All right, so I'm gonna add, let me just turn this off. And we have a storm brewing, so if y'all hear some thunder, it is not me dropping things in the kitchen. It is getting ready to come down. And the trees are blowing out there. All right, so I'm gonna just put all of this quinoa in with my squash, zucchini, garlic, and onions. And hold on, and I'll show y'all a picture. I wish I had it set up in here to where the camera could look down. I would do more cooking for you guys. And also if my kitchen was a little bit more accommodating for this, but it isn't. I have a galley style kitchen. I like it and I don't like it, but I kind of like being in the kitchen by myself. Do you? And especially because it is small in here. Anybody just, in here gets in my way. But I would love to cook more with my family out there so I can interact while I'm doing, because I do enjoy that. I don't like necessarily being by myself in here. I just like doing it myself. I think that's my thing. Gracie, what's your issue? She hears the storm. All right, so I have mixed it all up. Do y'all see? All right, so all I've done is I took the coconut oil and I chopped up actually 2 little onions because I didn't have a big one. And I used a sweet Vidalia onion. So I chopped it up, not too fine, and put it in and stirred it up. Added some minced garlic. I did not have fresh garlic on hand. It's time to go to the grocery store and I'm out of several things. So I was having to kind of do makeshift. And I'll tell you why. Because I have been migrating more and more and more to a vegan lifestyle, because the more I read, the more I really research and see reports, statistics, studies, I realize how much more beneficial that is, and how meat and dairy really are not beneficial when you're having grass-fed organic beef. There's still processing, there's still things that happen. Now, I will tell you, I watched a documentary last night. This is what really put me over the edge, and I said, okay, I have made my decision. I cannot do it. And so it was called What the Health. And I posted it on my Facebook page. So you guys can see that if you don't remember when you go to your Netflix and want to watch something good and informative and not some junk. But anyway, because there's lots of junk on there too. There's some good things. And I do enjoy a Netflix movie here and there. But I also really enjoy a good documentary. So check that out. And I've just decided today, this is my birthday month. I turned 60 June 29th. And I just made the decision, put the nail in it, and said, I'm going vegan. So I told my husband and my son and my daughters, and my daughter said, yay, go for it. And one of my daughters is almost vegan. And then my son said, okay. And my husband said, enjoy yourself. When you're making a change in your life, doesn't this look yummy? When you're making a change and you have a family and your changes with food especially, and you're the cook And your family maybe is already, it's already a little bit challenging to come up with what's going to be for dinner tonight, right? And now you're like, oh my goodness, now I'm not going to have meat and I'm not going to have dairy. Now listen, I'm not trying to thrust this vegan lifestyle on you. I'm just trying to show you the benefits of it and give you some, give you some ideas as to how you might begin to incorporate that. And the way I started it really was my blender over there and making smoothies. So I do intermittent fasting, and so every day I don't eat until lunchtime, and then I do a smoothie. And my smoothie has spinach and carrots and celery and organic frozen berries and a banana and some protein powder and water. Now my protein powder is also very specific in that it's non-GMO, it's gluten-free, and free of all the junk, because there are a lot of junky protein powders out there. So don't just go grab one off your grocery store shelf and think you're getting a good protein powder, because that's not true. All right, so that's how I started, and then that would fill me up. I mean, it tastes good, I look forward to it, and I enjoy it. And so I do that every day, and it fills me up. I don't really want a snack or anything, but at dinner time, and we eat early around here, so we usually eat around 5 o'clock, 5:30, and by then I'm hungry. So like right now, I'm hungry. So I'm going to taste this for you guys, and it's kind of hot. It's really hot. Let me let it cool off just a minute. Let me blow it. Oh, it's tasting pretty good. So very yummy, tasty, and I can tell you it's going to be very filling. So I have quinoa, onions, garlic, zucchini, squash, curry powder, salt and pepper, coconut oil. Simple. Now this is a cheap way to eat. So this will be all I eat today. If I did want something else later, I would probably slice up an apple, or I would fix me another smoothie, or I would juice something. But honestly, when you're intermittent fasting, your body acclimates to that, and I'm getting all the calories I need in my smoothie and in my dinner. Y'all, this is good. Now listen, I'm not a big Indian food fan. My husband, got a little kick to it. My husband is, and I've had some that's good, and then I've had some that I really don't care too much for. But I have really never cooked much with curry powder. So this was my first. I know, y'all that cook all the time are going to say, Dana, what is wrong with you? You don't even know how to use curry powder? Well, let me just tell you, all the ingredients in here. I use turmeric a lot of times. So it has turmeric, coriander, ginger, mustard seed, cumin, cloves. So yeah, I mean, I use all of those. I've just never used a curry powder that's got them all mixed together. All right, so that's good. I'm gonna go eat anyway. Bon appetit to you.